There's so much going on now that we can't even tease all of it at the beginning of this video. Some of the things, among many others, that we are going to be discussing today are the Bitcoin ETF, the big double top forming in the S&P 500, the threat of terrorism on American targets in America and in Eastern Asia from Hezbollah, and also what's the one investment that the whole investing community, the whole investment world has wrong. I'm going to tell you all about that. And this literally just came out. Iran seizes oil tanker involved in U.S. dispute off coast of Oman. Iran has captured an oil tanker previously involved in a Washington-Tehran dispute over carrying U.S. sanctions crude, state media said. Earlier on Thursday, the UK Marine Trade Operation said an unnamed tanker was boarded by armed individuals near the Gulf of Oman and appeared to change course toward Iranian waters. So it looks like Iran is taking steps to escalate things. And people don't understand why I talk about this stuff. I'm a stock market guy. Why are you talking about Iran? Because it matters. It's going to affect everything, every aspect of everything. And if Iran is really pushing for this war, this is one way to get it started. Consumer prices rose 0.3% in December, higher than expected, pushing the annual rate to 3.4%. Much of the increase came due to rising shelter costs. The category rose 0.5% for the month and accounted for more than half of the core CPI increase. I often forget to mention to you guys, but I think I'm supposed to mention this every single time. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us get the word out to more like-minded people like us. The economy is going in a bad way. The vast majority of people don't recognize that. They don't know this. They're asleep at the wheel. You need to help yourself, first of all. Help the people you care about, also first of all. And then help get the message to more people that this message will help. People are not looking the right way. People are misunderstanding the way the economy is going. And a lot of people are going to have a lot of financial difficulty and hardship because they don't see it coming. You have the power to help them by getting the message out to more people. The S&P 500 may be forming a double top right now. That's a very negative sign for stocks going forward. And if you look at a 3-year chart here of the S&P 500, you'll see that this is what may be a double top, and either the index breaks through that pretty markedly or it's going to be coming down in the near term. I've told you before, I don't trust this market at all. Not just the S&P, I mean any of these markets. There's a lot of overvaluation right now, really high complacency. A lot of people don't remember the last time there was a down market. There's even a lot of stockbrokers who have only been operating in business during an up market. We're very vulnerable right now to a lot of things, including the potential that interest rates don't come down. Everyone's expecting them to come down. I'm expecting them to come down a couple times this year. But there's still the potential that they may raise or increase interest rates in an upcoming meeting. And people do not have their eye on that ball. I, again, will tell you, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I believe that interest rates will be lowered 3 times this year. But just don't bank on it. Everyone seems to be assuming that's what's going to happen, even though a lot of Federal Reserve representatives have implied otherwise. But if you look at a 3-year chart of the S&P 500, this could be a double top. And if you look at a 1-month chart, we're going to zoom in here, you'll see this candle is a bearish outside engulfing candle. That's a very negative sign, especially after a strong run up like we just saw over the last few days. And you guys would understand all this if you took my trading chart course. This is from Davos 2024. The world economy is set for its worst half-decade of growth in 30 years. Global growth is forecast to slow for the 3rd year in a row in 2024, tipping to 2.4% from 2.6% in 2023, the bank said in its latest Global Economic Prospects report. The entire world has been slowing down for a while on balance, and now there's higher interest rates, not just in America, but all over the world as well. There's a lot of countries, a lot of populations of countries that are struggling with inflation and bills. It's not just in America, it's worldwide. And the global economic engine is slowing down. And you're going to see that will put downward pressure on things like the price of oil, because as the economy slows down, there's less requirement for oil. Or even look at Dr. Copper. Copper prices follow the economic activity of the world. The more active the economy is, the more demand there is for copper. Why copper? Because copper is in everything. I don't think that the slowdown in worldwide growth is finished yet. I think that will go even lower before we bottom out. But here's an article. Coinbase Robinhood shares are lower despite Bitcoin ETF approval. But that's to be expected to a certain degree. But this is also where you want to watch where, yeah, Bitcoin went up $1,000, $1,500 today on the news. But now what happens? Because there's not a lot of price drivers or a lot of speculation drivers to get people buying more and more into Bitcoin. If they didn't do it over the last several months, weeks, or years, they're not going to be doing it now. Bitcoin will continue to grow in acceptance and usage, and then over time will keep increasing in price. But first, there's more likelihood that this will be, to a certain degree, a buy the rumor, sell the fact event, where there's not a lot of big events on the horizon anymore, and a lot of people are waiting for this moment, and now they're not going to wait any longer. They're not going to hold their shares forever. They're going to try and make money off of this event. The event happened now, so what do they do with their shares? Some of them, not all of them, some of them will sell their shares. Not shares, but their coins. So it'll be interesting to watch the next couple of weeks with Bitcoin specifically, watch its prices go, and we'll see if this is a longer term sustainable kind of gain because of the ETF approval, or if this sets off a buy the rumor, sell the fact event. Swedish defense officials criticized after warning public to prepare for war. Do you remember the video I made, the last one or the one before? I don't remember which one it was. I was talking about how NATO changed the language in their documents to mention Russia specifically and directly. There hasn't been this much concern of an invasion from Russia into Western Europe since 1945. The NATO allies are worried. They changed the language, and now Sweden is having defense officials talking about preparing for a war. Good for them. They should prepare for war. Because if you prepare for war, you're a lot less likely to have one. There's been some concerns about Hezbollah attacking U.S. interests worldwide, even in Eastern Asia or perhaps even on American soil. In East Asia, there's a lot of diplomats, a lot of soldiers, a lot of bureaucrats. There's a lot of soft targets, and there's a lot of concerns that Hezbollah is not just going to fight out of Lebanon. They're going to fight worldwide because they have a massive worldwide organization, a lot of contacts and alliances. This is just another factor where I don't see how America is not going to wind up getting into this war. And the one thing that investors have wrong, they're completely missing the boat on this, and this is where the huge opportunities lie. You guys know how I feel about gold, and I told you the whole way that gold prices were undervalued, they were going higher. And then I showed you there's all this buying demand from central banks, they're just gobbling up gold big time. And now we're going into the BRICS currency that's going to be backed by gold. But gold mining stocks still haven't caught up to the realistic levels based on the price of gold. Investors are missing the profit margins. What happens is that it might be a profit margin, and a company makes an ounce of gold and sells it, they make $10. And all of a sudden now they're making $100 on that same exact product. The same amount of effort goes into it, but they just now make 10 times the profit. This is going to kick in now for a lot of these gold mining companies. Investors are behind the curve. This is where the opportunity lies, because this is going to be, just like I showed you, there's going to be a big catch-up trade. The CEO of Sandstorm Gold believes that. And it's a matter of time because the companies themselves are going to have bigger profit margins. No one's recognizing this yet. And when a company makes more profits, that generally leads almost always to much higher stock prices. And of course, I'd love to ask for your help. Only you guys can help expand our message, get our message spread to more people who are like us. We need to help the like-minded people who are going to be able to face this message, to see this economy crumbling in front of their very eyes and protect themselves the appropriate way. One way you can help us out a ton to help us help not only you, help not only us, but help a lot more people would be if you subscribe to the channel.